So I'm gonna fold some clothes and just yap about some things that's on my mind, and hopefully it's of some value to you. So let me start at, well, recently I was thinking how, what's it called? There's so many things we kind of take for granted, such as, let's say you have like a heavy leg workout coming up, right? And we all like dread those. Depending on the person, you might be a psycho and you don't really dread those at all. But yeah, I'm on that side a little bit sometimes, but not right now. Yeah, and basically, what I'm trying to say is those things, depending on the day, if you have a lot of work and school work, your own side job, whatnot, it's easy to feel like you have something that's just like obtrusive in the way. There's somebody out there that just lost a leg, or they're disabled in some way and they're in the hospital, and all they would ask for is to be able to walk or go on a run. You know what I mean? And when I put it that way, that's when I realized that, like, wow, like, like, we're so privileged because of the fact that we get to do the things we can do. Even being able to fold these clothes, this is such a blessing. Like, it wasn't always something that I took as a privilege. I used to, when I initially first like moved out to college and whatnot, I used to feel that, whoa, like, this is definitely a change. But like, initially I kind of glided over the fact that this is a blessing on its own, that I get to do this in the first place. That, these little things that give you a sense of control in a way, knowing that you could get from point A to point B, tidy things up, clean your space, just feel like you are doing something to physically see, like, your mind clearing up. Like how making the bed, it's so easy to not make the bed. When you just doing it first thing in the morning, it actually genuinely gives a extra dose of momentum that otherwise wouldn't be there. But that momentum comes simply from the fact that you decided to right away get to making your bed as soon as you woke up. And it's not like you had to do it, but the fact that you did it, the barrier of like doing that task is not like obscenely high. Obviously, it's just making your bed. So the return on it is actually pretty big. Like, once you do it, it's just like, I could have easily avoided this, but I did it. And you doing that meant that, like, little spike on just taking action can be the thing that gets you out of the slump and gets you running right off the bat into the day. And I feel like that's something we honestly are more likely to miss now than ever. Now, when things get tough mentally, gets cloudy, it's easy to just skip these steps. But these are the little things that will be the setting foundations for how you do everything. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's actually 5 something in the morning right now, and I was working on a project, and my brain is a little fried. So, going on some tangents, but you'll have to bear with me. But another thing I was also thinking about earlier is how true masculinity is such an apparent thing, but it doesn't, like, it's hard to put your finger on it until you see the difference between true masculinity and what is shown to be masculine in general, like, at our times right now. So basically what I'm trying to say is, masculinity isn't about just like benching the highest weight, or just lifting big, having big stature, all that. Because honestly, there's a Islamic scholar out there, I can't remember the name, but they basically said at some point that if we're thinking of like strength wise, if you even look at like certain animals, like, let's say, like certain gorillas, certain other animals, they could they they could output like 700 times the kind of physical prowess that a human could ever go for, and they don't even have to train for it like that. Like, they just have that because of their lifestyle and whatnot. So it's really not like, in the long run, benching this weight or squatting this certain way, that's not the defining factor for why humans are the most on top of the chain and as able as we are to advance ourselves. Obviously, it's common sense, but that's when like it's more easier to narrow down why is it that a human is like the most advanced life form. It's because of our ability to think, strategize, and grow. Like learn through adversity, learn through obstacles, all of that. The rate at what we could do that is is better and quicker. So that's one of our greatest blessings, and I think we should definitely utilize that at every aspect of our life. And we honestly do intuitively, but as a human we also tend to sabotage ourselves because we if it's a loved one or a friend, the kind of grace and encouragement you could give to them for rough patches they may be going through, that same exact logic somehow we don't apply that to ourselves. And that's me speaking to myself, but it's like common sense. You know what's good for you, what's not good for you, and all that, but sometimes you still do the thing that's more familiar, even though it's not good for the long run. Like sometimes I could go to sleep way earlier, but I'm not, because I'm trying to keep myself busy with work that I'm not even able to output the best on, because I would rather be sleeping instead. But there's a guilt or like something in the back of my mind just telling me, no, no, you need to be working overnight to somehow bridge that gap. But no, do better than me, because there's more barakah, there's more blessings and more effectiveness in the time you spend in the early hours than there ever will be in the late hours. The same hours you could be at, like let's say like 2 3 at night, that exact hour, if you just instead decide to sleep and do that work you're planning to do but at 4 or 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, like the early hours, you will get way more output and way more work done in like 30 minutes at that time than you would at 2 3. The night owl thing is not always the ideal way to do things, and I don't think the night owl is even an actual legit. It's just like something we tend to use as a crutch. Like some of us prefer to just stay up at night, and we use the term night owl, make sense of it. But we're meant to sleep after sunset, like by like 10 at least. That's just how we're wired to be naturally. But if we're not there right now, it's because we manually pushed it to that level. Yeah, I want to continue folding these, but it was a pleasure having you here.